Ooh la la, 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 ooh la la. Tu hai meri fantasy.
Me have to live life to the fullest. Yo, yo, yo. Me have to live life to the fullest. Party turn up, everybody feel nice. High grade a bun, liquor gone pan ice. Wake this morning, I see the sunrise. I just thank God for my life. Every man grab a girl, any one of them choice. Girl grab a man, where them did eyes. Wake this morning, I see the sunrise. I just thank God for my life. So you know, I thanks me giving. Me heart still a beat, yeah, me still living. Yeah, me day in the party, I watch couple shorty, I wine and I dance to the rhythm. All who no know the song them singing. No fight great from me head start spinning. Video man ready, figure to the flaming. Start the thing from the beginning. Party turn up, everybody feel nice. High grade a bun, liquor gone pan ice. Wake this morning, I see the sunrise. I just thank God for my life.
Mr. Mizan Choudhury, who's the guy beside me. Hey, Mr. Buddy Muhammad, good night to you. Mr. Paul Ratness, Mike Sinarine, thank you very much. Yes, we were switching mics or something along in the studio. Good night, each and every one of you. Mr. Mizan for New York State Assembly. Welcome, Mizan. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing good, Shanaz. Hello to everyone.
Good night, each and every one of you. You don't have to be here before, for me to tell everyone what your platform is and what you stand for. He stands for a safer community, and how critical that is right now. A safer community, a cleaner community. Well, I'm glad that they're doing some work in our community. I have to say heads up, thumbs up. They're doing a good job with our roads. We've been talking about the roads. We've been talking about the garbage cans. And Richmond Hill, Queens, and South Ozone Park has been looking much better. It's been looking like home to all of us. So good night to each and every one of you. I'll raise my mic just a little bit. And DJ Vishal is in the studio as well. So guys, share the link, share the love. Mike Krampachab, how are you? John from Queens. And I want, if you guys have questions for Mizan, feel free to ask him the question. Sheila Mata Prasad, Raj Prasad, good night to you. And as many of us said before, how important it is to talk about gun control. And John said it's not the gun that shoots people, it's the person behind that gun that shoots the person. So guys, how safe it is in the schools. Do you think the school your child is attending right now is safe? Ganika Singh, good night to you. Good night to Justin D. Anthony Nalini Naidu. Imran Ahmad, good night, good night. John is not on the balcony tonight. He's probably in the studio. Raj Prasad, El Dorado. I do have a few bottles of El Dorado supporting our very own homeland Guyana, And Raj Prasad, thank you very much. Tomorrow, why SMS decide to be live tonight? Because I have a Guyana event tomorrow night, Imran Ahmad, good night to you. And I would love Imran to ask a question to Mizan Choudhury, because I know he was trying very hard to be at your meet and greet last week. Yes. By the way, I want to thank each and every one of you who attended the meet and greet. So Mizan, we had a successful meet and greet.
Very successful. Yeah.
It wasn't everyone. It was a selected individual who came forward.
Invited only guests. Right. It was really awesome. So I want to thank everyone for coming there and then attend the meet and greet and fundraiser. This was really an awesome event organized by Shanaz and other organizers. So I want to thank everyone for putting this together. I mean, this is great. Our community is great. We need to be united. We need to work together, and we need to make sure that we do whatever it takes for our community, because end of the day, it's all about the communities, guys. And when we work together, we can make things happen. And that's what has been happening for the last few weeks, working with all of you folks. I mean, I'm so excited to be part of this community, and we're gonna definitely make it happen. My name is again Mizan Choudhury. I'm running for assembly from the District 24. Richmond Hill, South Richmond Hill, Ozone Park, Queens Village, Holliswood, Jamaica State, Jamaica Hills, Briarwood. These are the areas I'm running from. And District 24 is, one of the most diverse district, 80% plus demographics who look like us, and we definitely need seat at the table. And our slogan is diversity, unity, and representation, and that's what we are running on, because end of the day, we need seat at the table so we can get information for our community and support our community.
I want to read Imran Ahmad, so let me just pin that comment 1 minute, and we will get to that 1 minute. I think we should read Mr. Imran Ahmad's comment. Mr. Choudhury, with the rise of gun violence, the mayor spoke about special metal detectors. You know, Imran, when I was in school, I'm not sure how long ago that was, in high school, they had metal detectors. I'm not sure what happened to them, because the other day my husband went to pick up my daughter from school, and you could have walked right in. Yeah. No checking, no security, no
Absolutely,
nothing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, it's not about metal detection, and it's not about that. The gun violence is one of the most hardest situation in our communities in this country. You know, now America is, you know, one of the greatest country in the world, but we have to deal with what happened yesterday. We had over 21 people were killed by a 18-year-old kid. Like, you know, the assault rifle, what he had you know, access to. That is the problem we have, you know, and that's what we always talk about, that we really need to talk about gun control, because this is very important thing, and we have to really reach out to our senators, because if 50 plus senators agrees, they agree to, you know, the stop that gun violence, they can do it tomorrow. So you have to call your senators, you have to call your elected officials.
Together we can make it happen.
Together we can make it happen.
And you know what? They lowered the age limit to make it accessible for you to get a gun in Texas.
Not only that, I mean, you know, you don't need anything. You know, there is no checking, there is nothing. I mean, this kid is 18 years old, and he had 2 assault rifle with 70 plus, you know, like. I mean, this is ridiculous.
He had a history, also juvenile history.
Yes, and he also shot his own grandmother.
Right.
You know, so this is
mental health is also important. Aside from gun violence, mental health. And before you have access to a gun, or before you obtain a license to get a gun, you should be going through social services. You should have a psychiatrist evaluated you to see whether you're, you know, capable of carrying a gun.
Well, while we are talking about gun violence and the crime in this country, we also need to talk about what is happening in New York City. I mean, look, public safety is my #1 priority. When I become an assembly person, we really need to make sure that we revisit the bail reform, because there are some loopholes there, and the repeat offenders keep coming back to our community and keep repeating the same offense, even though they are getting arrested. But unfortunately, our system is not able to keep them hold in the jail and stuff. But the problem is, you know, unfortunately, the elected officials, like, I'm just going to talk about, my assembly person, my current assembly person. I mean, you know, he failed to protect our community, because last few months in Richmond Hill area, 10 plus people were attacked. 10 plus people were attacked. Jamaica Hills area, Hillside Avenue area, about 4 people were attacked by these offenders. And, you know, our elected official, our assembly person failed to do so. Failed to do anything. It's not about just coming to press conference and talk about big thing, you know, after there is a, you know, situation. It's about making action. Now, my question is to my assembly person: what have you done so far in the last few years? You have been in the power. This is not a new thing. It's been happening, out there all the time. In your own community, it's happening. In your own backyard, it's happening. So we really need to talk about, public safety, and that is my #1 priority. When I go to office, I want to make sure that we revisit this. The bail reform and all other things. Look, end of the day, it's our family, it's our community. If we cannot keep it safe,
if you can't feel safe problem. Where you live, where would you feel safe? You know, yes, a few days ago, Richmond Hill, if you have the Citizen app, which is so important, there were 3 guys armed, and I haven't seen a cop in Richmond Hill looking for these guys. They were armed with a gun, but Play your music loud in Richmond Hill. You are being harassed by the cops. You are being harassed by the cops for lowering your music. It's loud. It's obnoxious. You know, it's disturbing your neighbors. But if you see a gun violence, or if you see someone carrying a weapon, would you report it? No. But you're going to call a cop on your neighbor playing loud music. And the cops are leaving their posts to report to these things. Let's prioritize what's important. Safety is important in our community. And over and over, I asked the cop, what's more important? I looked out the window the other day, looking for guys with guns. As I see the citizen's arrest, the citizen app give a notification. 16,000 people was notified that there were 3 guys carrying a gun in Richmond Hill. They give you the specific location, and I was in the area, so I was, you know, just circling the area to see how many cops will show up. Not one police car showed up. For a gun.
This is unbelievable, and look, also we need to have community empowerment. Real empowerment is needed, you know, because it's not about just coming to the communities and just talk about what needs, but end of the day, you know, you promise something and you don't do it.
Action speaks louder than words.
Speak louder than words, right?
You know, you could promise the world, but if you can't deliver something, don't keep promising.
Yes. So this is what has been happening here. You know, our communities are not getting access to funds. Our communities are not getting access to the real information, real empowerment. Look, our youth. You know, we have biggest problem. Our youth. You know, we have to find a way to empower our youth. You know, either send them to, you know, vocational training institute, you know, make them skill laborers, right? Let them be part of skill labor force, and you know, so not only they can stay away from drugs, they can also stay away from all this violent act, right? And we have to do something about it. So my second, when I become an assembly person, my second agenda is I want to talk about vocational education, vocational training education, because that's the only way we can create skilled laborers for our, from our community, and that's what we need. You know, that's very important. That's how you empower our youth.
That's right. So don't put them in 6 years of college and you don't have the jobs to offer them.
Exactly.
You know, give them 6 months or 8 months of training and hands-on jobs that's in demand. The president of the Queens Community Lions Club, Mr. Inderjeet Paul, thank you very much for tuning in. RJ Angeli, thank you very much. She said, stop gun violence in the world today. And I would like to read Mr. Mike Seniorine note right there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Republicans don't want to compromise on the gun control. They get big donations from the corporations for years. For the Democrats are trying, but the Republicans keep blocking keep fighting for change. But you know what?
Absolutely.
Who are fighting? It's not about Republican. It's not about Democrat. It's who can make that change. Who could provide safety for your kids and your community.
Well, look, I mean, I know we all have kids. I have 2 kids. I have 15 years old, and I have 8 years old daughter and 15 years old son. Look, I mean, yesterday what happened, you know, my heart goes to the families, you know, who lost their loved ones, you know, over there in Texas. You know, that can happen anywhere. This similar situation happened right here in our backyard in, Sandy Hook, like a few years ago. All of you know. Now, this should not be happening anywhere in the world, anywhere, you know, in the country. And it can stop. Like my friend over here, he said that Republican can stop it, but they don't want to do it because their donation gonna get stopped, you know, if they take action. And I also urge all the Democrats also need to work hard to do that, because if we don't talk about it, if we don't really, go after it, then, you know, we have a president right now sitting in White House. He can do some drastic measure. You know, he should definitely sign some kind of executive order to take all these guns from the street, like especially the assault rifles, and you know, those are like war tools, right?
Right.
Those rifles are in use in war, but those rifles are in our streets in this country, in USA, in America.
They're made for destruction.
Yeah, so we have to do something about it. And look, I mean, I talked about earlier that empowerment, youth empowerment, why our youth is, going towards drugs and,
violence
and all, and how we can prevent them. We really need to empower our youth so that they can get, better education, they can get better job, and they can do whatever they want to do in their life. Because, I got to talk about me, right? When I came to this country, I was 23 years old. I finished my master's from Dhaka University, and then I came here. I did multiple odd jobs to take care of my family. But when I realized that, look, I got to do something where I can not only build my future, also my family's future. So I went to a computer school, and I started training computers. And then I got multiple certifications, became a network engineer. Then I became a network specialist. I got one of the highest certification in networking industry. And then now I'm a technology manager. Like me, there are a lot of people who graduated, high school or college. They can also do the same thing what I have done. They can go to vocational, they can learn about IT, they can learn about other things. So what will happen is if we focus them, if we make them focus towards something good, they end up not, going towards drugs and violence.
Teenagers need to be occupied. Their mind and their body needs to be occupied.
We
were once there. We know how it is. You have too many hours on your hands. You have to keep you occupied.
Yes.
And the most important thing, giving you something that you love to do.
Yes.
Don't give you a job that you don't love. Give you something that you enjoy. Yeah. And a trade is so short term that you start making money right away, and they will keep. Money is a motivation on its own. You see that money coming in, you will start working harder.
Absolutely.
RJ Angeli, our prayers are with you and Homeland, Texas, and the entire community. It touches home for most of us as parents. When you see how many innocent children were killed and hurt, that you send your kid to school to get an education, to become a better person, and they didn't come home that day.
Yeah. I mean, it's heartbreaking. I mean, I was looking at today. I could not stop crying because that could be anyone's
kid. My friend. It could be my kid, your kid. Anybody. Hey, the beautiful Sheila Mata Prasad. Good night to you. I would like you to read Imran Ahmad's comment.
Yep.
Mr. Choudhury, since you mentioned loopholes in bail reform, would you say that it should be repelled? Crime has gone up ever since bail reform was signed into law.
I always say that most importantly we have to revisit it, right? We have to find out the loopholes. And I'm not saying that we should repeal or we should not do anything about it. When we should definitely talk about it. Every elected official should look into it, and then state legislators should be looking into it and make sure that all the loopholes are, gone. Because look, a few months ago, what happened in New York City? The subway shooting, right? The guy was arrested 9 times in New York City, 3 times in New Jersey. But the same guy who came to the subway with same rifles, the assault rifle, and then he started shooting at people. I mean, this can happen anywhere. So we got to revisit it. We got to see what's happening, and we have to make sure that we do something about it. But we got to talk about it. We cannot have the status quo just sitting in the office, and every year we are electing some of these people like my opponents, right? My assembly person, and you cannot just come to our community and then talk about the gun violence and talk about what is happening in our community, but end of the day nothing is happening. When was the last time you brought a bill to take care of this kind of situation? So I urge people that look, we got to do something about it. Only way you can do it, you have to change, and change is must, right? It is time for change. We need diversity. We need representation. We need seat at the table.
And we need unity. We need everyone to come together and support each other.
This
community needs support. Hey, Sai-Five, good night to you. Moral and Ali, good night to you. Mike, thank you very much for that awesome comment. Good night to Chandri Kadari. Good night. And we will go with DJ. We have a DJ in the studio, and we'll be right back with Mizan Choudhury running for New York State Assemblyman. Guys, let's go.
Yo, DJ Vishal.
Access 24 Homes. Call Mr. Sam, sing tonight. Zahir Hussain. Barbara Ramaran. Mike Sinaran, good night to you. Beautiful comment indeed, but the only time you see folks in line is when something is giving out in our community, and that's not how it should be. Nawaz Muhammad, good night to you. And your beautiful wife and kids. No one will line up to vote, but put a free food cart out there and everyone will line up, whether they need it or not. I'm a plain speaker. I don't feel our community need that. We need to get out and get ourselves a job. Barbara Madre, good night to you. Mona Lisa Persad. Many of us works day in and day out to provide for our families. And those food pantries, I'm not pro for them. We need to come together for better unity, better protection. And we are pro-police because we deserve police protection. COVID is gone, and when the mask comes off, how many of us will be lining up in the lines to get our free food, having it spoiling at home, sending it to homeland Guyana? You know, I know so many folks, it's irritating that I know so many folks who do not need the food, but they're at the lines getting the food. Leave it for someone who needs it. Hey, Kamal Hamid, good night to you, my wonderful cooker from Toronto. What's cooking tonight? Let's form lines to make our community stronger. Let's form lines to make our community safer. Barbara Madre, Mike Sinarine. And I believe I should set cameras, not just for local election, for general election, to see how many of our community folks are going out there to vote and how many of our community folks are actually enjoying the benefits of the votes. Kamal Hamid, we had some dal and rice in the studio, some bunje shrimp, some pachowni, and some stew fish. But guess what? I told him don't open that stew fish. It's stew snapper with some tambre and achar. Came all the way from Big Well Bakery and Halal Restaurant. Raymond Bacchus, good night to you. We love to read your feedback. Hey, Lakshmi Prasad, good night to you. I know Mr. Mizan have another appointment, so we will be talking very shortly. And DJ Vishal will come back pretty soon. DJ, keep that song in the loop. We'll be partying pretty soon, but we do have to address, there's a time and place for everything, and the time is now. The safety we need is now. Jasmine Madre, good night to you. Kamal, thank you. Anthony Lily, Naidu, I'm coming by to you next weekend for some dinner. So we'll pause the music. I know we have DJ Vishal all night, but we don't have Mr. Mizan all night, but we have to get something out of the way. And the slate you perform, you put together, we don't have a picture of it, but you've been seeing it on Liberty Avenue, a well-diverse slate. We have Punjabis, we have Muslim, we have Christian, we have Hindus, we have African-American, we have Indians, we have white, we have Guyanese. I'm representing our homeland Guyanese folks. I'm running for judicial delegate in District 24. That's right. It's about time to get your hands out of medical, not just out of medical, but put it in our community.
Yes.
Right?
Well, so this is the first time we put together one of the most diverse slate panel where not only I am running for assembly, we are running for district leaders, we are running for judicial delegates, we have people running for county committees and state committee. Now, the reason we put this together, because majority of the time we see that our people we are fighting for one position. Now, instead of fighting for one position, why not we fight for different positions? And why not we work together, united? United we stand, divided we fall. Now, our community, we have to work together. We have the numbers, we have the demographics, we have the numbers, and I urge everyone that if you have not registered yet, please go out and register, because until June 3rd, you can register to vote. And
how can they register? I have a lot of new timers out there who just get their citizenship.
Yes,
they want to know how to
go
register.
to dmb.org and then they can register, or they can just go to their local, BOE office or their elected officials' office. At least one time you can use your elected officials and ask them to register for you, or register to vote. Or you can call us and then we will help you to register. Not only that, if you are a registered voter, please make sure that you go out and vote. I saw somebody was, making comments that our people don't go out and vote. And you guys talk about the line and all those things, right? Look, this is important. You have to go out and vote. Vote is your democratic right. This is the only time, if you are not voting, you do not have rights to complain. What is happening out there in the world.
But most of the time are the ones who don't go out to vote. They're the ones who have all the complaints.
Yes,
they don't make a difference in our community.
It is very important. So you have to think
your
about...
Your voice is your vote, but
yes,
yet you wouldn't see them.
Your vote, once you vote, your voice get heard. And not only that, when you vote in this area, let's say in Richmond Hills area, when more people are participating, elected officials and the people who are holding the resources, the information, they will come to the community and say, this community, they go out and vote. So they will come and they will share the resources. And I always talk about, look, New York State, New York City has so much fundings. Our communities are not getting those fundings because we do not know where this funding, what fundings are available and where this funding goes. Every non-profit organization are eligible to get funds from the state and the city, but majority of the time the funds and the information get stuck on the top because we do not have anybody sitting at the table and we do not get those information. So
and how to direct the funds to get spent? What do we need in our community? We need language line, we need youth centers, we need senior citizen centers.
And most importantly, we need our own elected officials, right? If you don't have your own person sitting at the table, you are not getting the information. And end of the day, we need to get the information. I go to different businesses and I talk to them, and I see that how much struggles. I mean, I was a business owner. I had a small business, but I had to shut down because of the pandemic. I could not continue it. Like me, there are a lot of businesses. There was SBA loan, but PPP, but that was not enough. So a lot of businesses are shutting down right now because they're not getting enough.
Because they're not getting the
funds.
support from our own community. Also, we need the community support,
As well, yes.
The finances need to circulate to make the country run. Our community is not going out. I'm not sure what they're doing, if they're saving all the money in their pillow or under the bed or in their Citibank or what I have, Chase Bank, all of those. But you need to have money in circulation to make the economy picking up.
Absolutely. We have to support our small businesses.
Yeah, mom and pop store need to be supporting.
Stores,
don't go out to all these brand name store and show me you're making, Louis Vuitton and Michael Kors. They're not supporting our community. Support the mom and pop stores that's in our community.
Absolutely.
All the restaurants, support them in our community. I know a lot of folks getting a lot of money, but they are stingy. They're not spenders. We need to spend it in our country that we are living in.
Yeah. I also want to talk a little bit about that, how important it is for you to participate, right? If you don't participate, then you don't have any rights to complain about what is happening, why you are not getting this, why you are not getting that. At least go out and vote, June 18 to June 26 is the early voting, right? There are limited early poll site, but you can have either walking distance or you can call our campaigns and we will provide the
call John from
cars.
Queens. He will provide you with services. He will pick you up and take you to the voting poll. John from Queens is a very good supporter and he will get things done. Sonia Chandni, good night. You, RJ, Angeli, how you doing? Sandra, Madhu, good night to you. Radha Ramusar, Sheila Mata Prasad, Mike Sinarayan, thank you. Biram Jairam, thank you for joining us. And Navin, thank you for joining our conversation. It's very, upsetting to see the folks in our community. They're standing up for things that we shouldn't be standing up for. They're making us look bad. I'm sure our community is not that much in need. Without the mask, and this is not, I am saying this personally, without the mask, how many of us will go out in the lines and wait for food? Let's do that. They're going to use COVID as an excuse to go out to vote, but they wouldn't use COVID to go out there to collect the food and send it to wherever they're from. Get out there, get yourself a job. We're also finding jobs for you guys. That's my main goal. Yep. I love to hook you guys up with jobs and apartment. Day in and day out, I get you guys jobs. Call me for a job. I posted on my Facebook how many folks are actually going out to get a job. It's easier to sit down and get the things coming to you than to go out and get it. Good night, each and every one of you. You're locked on to Shanaz Musical Sensation. Bibi Muhammad, thank you very much for always the love and support. Sheila Mata Prasad, it's sometimes, you don't get liked when you speak the truth, but sometimes the truth hurts. And truth, I don't like to sugarcoat anything. Say it as it is. We need support. We need your vote. We need your love. And go out and support all the small businesses in our community. Where did we get the food from today? I didn't cook it. None of the DJs cook it. We bought it from a restaurant because they're local. They're in our community. They need to also survive. We're supporting our community by going out there. Absolutely. We get upset. I get upset when I go to certain community and I see our people are not in there. But you can't blame the people who are in there. Absolutely. They are supporting. That's what we want to be. We want to get our green card. We want to get our citizenship, but we have to also vote. That's our voice. So I know, hey, Shani Singh, good night, good night. Yes, please rewatch the program, share the video, share the likes. And yes, Mizan stand for a safer community, cleaner community. And does the MTA really works?
Well, that's very important. I mean, I want to share the statistics, what is happening right now. You know that the subway crime is up almost 70+%. And we need to have a MTA what works for us, right? Safer MTA. And another statistics is, in general, in New York City, crime is up 60%. And hate crimes is up 189%. Can you believe this?
We were actually featured on Channel 12 News, Channel 2 News, NBC News, right there on Punjab Avenue. How many of you know where Punjab Avenue is?
Yeah, I was there too. The press conference.
We had a press conference and we were featured because
few of our Sikh brothers were attacked. Yeah,
and you know what? Our females are being attacked too. So it targets everyone, guys. It's not just the male. It's not just the elderly. It's kids. It's female. It's kids. It's your grandparents. Safety comes first. We're not speaking about ourselves. Most of us hop in a car from point A to point B. Some of us walk the community.
Well, we also need a community. We also need community policing, right? And that's what very important. We have to work with our NYPD police force, support them, right? Because they're also out there, working for us. They're also risking their life. But end of the day, their hand is tied too, because they can arrest somebody, like the thing what we did, the press conference. The guy who got arrested, he was let go like a couple days later because they could not keep him in jail, even though he did multiple offense, And then these repeat offenders keep coming back to our community. But you know what? We have to do something. And you know who can do it? You. You as a voter, you can vote out people who are not doing anything, who are just sitting there, status quo. They're not doing anything. They come and say hello to you when they can get some camera time. And that's it. My question is, what have you done so far to protect your own community, protect your own people? If you have not done anything, then you do not have right to sit at that table anymore. Let other people, have a chance to
and stand up for what they believe in.
Yes, and then look, 2 years later, there will be another election. If I win, if I become your assembly person, and if you don't like me 2 years later, 2 years later, you can vote me out. You can vote me out. You can change. But change we must, right? It is time for change. And again, I tell you, diversity, unity, and representation. That's how we can change our community.
I will post a flyer of our platform later, and everyone could watch it. Hey, the beautiful Drew Sahadev, good night to you. John from Queens, he said the business were forced to shut down because of the idiots in charge. Idiots in charge. I'll repeat that. And the people in charge have to allow the crime to explode. They do not punish criminals. Well, you know what? We here, and it's 2022, we have to make our communities safer for ourselves, our grandparents, our parents, and our children, today and tomorrow. DJ Vishal is on the ones and the twos. Mizan, Choudhury, thank you for coming by. You will see him more often. You will see him in our community, but it's late. He has an appointment, and we will be continuing the conversation. Follow him, Mizan Choudhury, on Facebook.
Yes, and you can follow me. You can go to my website, www.mizan4ny.com. You can follow me at Mizan4ny in Facebook and also Instagram and also Twitter.
And remember,
thank you very much.
Any donation help, because campaigning and all these work doesn't come easy.
Absolutely.
So donation and donate wisely. Thank you, John from Queens, Andrew.
And I want to thank you, Shanaz, for all the support. You are always, and I'm telling you, we also need to get her elected, because she is one of the most most liked person in the community, and she does a lot of work for the community without asking anything in return. And I want to thank you, Shanaz, for giving me the opportunity.
It's my community, and this is how we give back.
Yes.
We have to stand together, guys. Let's do it. Judicial delegate for District 24 is Bibi Hussein on the ballot. That's me. Go out there and vote. Let's make a difference today. Let's go, DJ Vishal. Mizan, thank you for coming by. And you'll be seeing more of him. Check him out on his Facebook and his website. Donate wisely.
Thank you.
Right. Yo, DJ Vishal.
Hello everyone. This is actress and model Mahima Choudhury from India. If you like entertaining videos and if you would like to see a variety of content, then don't forget to subscribe to John from Queens and John from Queens Free on YouTube. Also, please don't forget to inform your family and friends about it. Thank you so much. Namaste. मैं हूँ एक्ट्रेस एंड मॉडल महिमा कोठारी इंडिया से। अगर आपको पसंद है बहुत सारे एंटरटेनिंग वीडियोस और आपको अच्छा लगता है इंटरेस्टिंग कंटेंट देखना, तो आप जॉन फ्रॉम क्वींस और जॉन फ्रॉम क्वींस 3 को यूट्यूब पे सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें, और आप अपने फ्रेंड्स और फैमिली को भी इसके बारे में इन्फॉर्म करना ना भूलें। धन्यवाद।
You're watching Shanaz Musical Sensation on the famous John from Queens YouTube channel. Continue supporting our #1 YouTuber, John from Queens. I'm yours truly, Shanaz Hussein.